Welcome to Tuttle Talk, a part of the Real Estate Radio Network. And now, live in studio, offering you a fresh perspective. He's your local real estate and finance expert. He's part of the Common Sense Party, and he's committed to teaching you how to win in any market. Your host, Andy Tuttle.
Good afternoon and welcome to Tuttle Talk on the Real Estate Radio Network, where we teach you what the rich and the banks do, not what they tell you to do, and where we dispel the misconceptions of financial wellness and the local real estate market and show you how following a few key principles really can free you up to focus on the other important areas of your life, like your friends, your family, and the community. Every Sunday, 3 p.m., right here on 660 a.m., The Answer, the most important hour of radio. I am your host, Andy Tuttle. Thank you so much for joining me. You know, we have got a lot on the show today coming up. I can't wait to get to it. It's a loaded docket today. We got how to know what your credit score is before calling a lender, how to really know what your credit score is, because there's a lot of different type of scoring models out there, and that's going to mess you up. There's some new FHA and VA regulations that are coming out, that some have come out, some are coming out in June, that you've got to know about because it could save you or cost you tens of thousands of dollars. We, of course, have many of our contest winners. We'll be announcing those as well. And I have another announcement that has been 2 years, almost 2 years in the making, and I'm very excited to share that with you. Also, we're going to show you how to relieve some of the major headaches that come up with buying your home with one of our expert contributors, Gabe Abshire with Utility Concierge. And then we get to our special guests. We've got Candy Evans of Candy's Dirt, hilarious, very controversial sometimes, a blogger with a lot of great insight on what's going on in this community. And also Kevin Caskey, he's the director, and he's a fantastic real estate agent, one of the tops in Dallas, over at Dallas City Center. We're going to find out what makes Dallas City Center different and get his take on what we need to do based on what's going on in this low inventory environment. All that's coming up this hour, so give us your hour. We'll make sure to give you great value. That's my goal every single week, is to give you some balanced truths, what's going on in the market, interview experts from all over, so you can make some smarter decisions about what's going on. You got to make informed decisions, right? And there's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of talking heads out there. There's a lot of gloom and doom, and there's just a lot of national news that doesn't really... It doesn't apply to us down here in DFW, so I want to make sure that you've got the information that does apply to you right down here. If something hits you and you do know that you need to call and get some more information about it, you can reach us at the off-air hotline, 214-736-9696, 214-736-9696, or email me, questions@andytuttle.com. You can also become a fan of the show, Facebook.com/Tuttle Talk. You get into the conversation. We will give you all kinds of advice on that page from all of our expert contributors, from articles to blogs to just short tips, anything we can do to guide, help you in your life, help you have a prosperous future. And speaking of that, when you do call, the individual that picks up that phone, I've made them ask certain questions. One, they're going to just ask you what prompted your call, just let them know. And then they're going to follow up with a few other basic questions. And the reason I make sure that our hotline is there, and the reason I make sure that there's always somebody that's going to answer your questions, is because I want to make sure I'm doing my best to help you set up for a successful, healthy financial future. That's why we're here. That's why we do the show. And so if you need that during this, if you find out you want to call, find out more about any topic we discuss, please call that number, 214-736-9696. We'll get you taken care of. So I told you about our guest today. I'm so excited to have them on because they're a fun bunch, but they have a lot of interesting insight that even I don't get to hear about all the time. I don't have time to do all the research and dig into all the things that Candy gets to do. And she gets to talk with all kinds of realtors, even that I don't get a chance to discuss because there's only so much you can do every week. And so I'm really excited for you to listen into some of the ideas she's going to discuss, where the market's going, especially with Kevin here. He's been in this industry a long, long time. He's been very successful. And more importantly, he's helped raise the bar of the realtors in the community. In fact, realtors at Dallas City Center actually are on average 2.5 times better than other agents in the marketplace. And we've got the statistics to back that up, so you'll want to hear that later. But first, I've been listening to, and I'm here with Gabe Abshire. I make him not talk as much as possible.
Well, who can get a word in as fast as you talk? I mean, seriously.
Hey, man, we're running. I already feel like we got so much content. I gotta speed it up.
Got to get through it.
That's right. Welcome to the show, buddy.
It's a talent to talk that fast.
It is
really
a talent.
amazing.
And not listen to anyone.
I'm just sitting here in awe.
Take notes, buddy. So, welcome back. I know you've been gone out of town traveling, trying to help grow the company, help the community. We'll talk about that in a minute. But you've been glued to the news. I would imagine, you know what's been going on with Boston.
Sure, yeah.
And even some new developments that I heard, the woman, the fingerprint, and all those kinds of things. And there's, every time, unfortunately, a tragedy happens, there's always... there is that kind of, you want to find out more about what's going on there because you want the truth. But on you juxtapose that with the tragedy in West, and now there's some corruption there that they're trying to uncover or perhaps uncover. And I don't know if it's just to make news or if it's, real.
It's interesting to see. We were actually on a cruise when all that happened, and so we had limited news coverage. But it was interesting to see the so much more news coverage about the Boston incident. And there just was a lot of limited information about what went on in West. But, yeah, it's always they're just trying to find a story with everything.
Right.
I just wish that if, people that did horrific things like that, they just wouldn't even put their face on the news, would refer to them as Subject A, give them zero credibility.
Right.
Because that's all it does. Now the parents are coming over and they want their 5 minutes of fame. And, it's just ridiculous.
It is a sad thing because at the end of the day, even me as a citizen and someone that I have two things that battle in me because I want to hear that information. At the same time, you're right. I don't want those guys getting any FaceTime.
I don't care about them. I care about the victims.
Exactly.
I care less about who they are.
Exactly. And I don't want, only reation I care is, did you catch them? Are you going to get to the bottom of it to try to protect the homeland, if you will?
Exactly.
Okay, guys, I want to get to, we could talk about that all day, but there's so many other shows that talk about that. We do want to keep focused on what you need. One of the things I wanted to talk about very quickly, because I've been getting this a lot lately and it hit me. I know you go out there and you look at your credit score and you're like, man, I think that I want to go to this site, freecreditreport.com or whatever the places are, and you go get your credit score. And you think you have a 720 credit score. And you're like, great, I'm in good shape because 720 means perfect. I can get, or 740, I can get best rates, all that fun stuff on credit cards, cars, or mortgages. But what you don't know is that scoring model is different than the ones that the bank uses. So there are the three main bureaus. That's Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. And those three bureaus report on multiple different models. And you've probably heard of this, but it's a model called the FICO model. That is the model that the banks use. And you need to remember that, and you need to know that even though if you're going to a credit report site to get your credit score, and that score range goes from 400 to 1,000, and you get a 720, you're not going to have that same score when you pull it at any bank for any type of lending, because that is used on a different model that goes from 350 to 850. So sometimes you pull your credit and it's a 740, and then you go with a bank and it's a 620. You're like, man, I should have a better rate. Well, the reason is because your score is different. So here's where you go get your real score. Here's where you get the score that the banks use. Go to annualcreditreport.com. Annualcreditreport.com. You can get your credit score one time a year and get your actual credit score so you know that it's the score that the banks will use. And that's what you can do to make sure that you get the best borrowing terms and you've got time to improve that. And we're going to show you how to improve that. If you want to improve your score, by the way, call us 214-736-9696. We will hook you up with a credit expert who will take care of you, whether it's one little collection or whether you have multiple items and you've just had some bad hiccups in the past, you need to get those repaired, or if you have a 700 and you need to get to a 720, because that could save you thousands of dollars. It's not just for people that have bad credit. It's people that have good credit that need excellent. You're listening to Tuttle Talk here on the Real Estate Radio Network on 660 AM. The Answer. I am your host, Andy Tuttle. Coming up, I am going to announce the winners of our station celebration and share an event almost 2 years in the making. Plus, our expert with Utility Concierge will share with you how to eliminate headaches during the moving process. Stay tuned. Welcome back, Dallas. You're listening to Tuttle Talk on the Real Estate Radio Network. I am your host, Andy Tuttle. You can reach us 214-736-9696. 736-9696, 214-736-9696. That is our off-air hotline. When you call, you're going to ask them some questions. They're going to ask you some questions. I have them do that to make sure they help you set up for a prosperous future. So get into that dialogue. It'll be a short call, but it will be worth your time, and we'll make sure to set you up with the right professional for you. Remember, you can also listen to us on the 660 AM app on your iPhone or on your Android, and you can go to facebook.com/Tuttle Talk, get into the conversation, get our daily advice from all of our experts to make sure that you are in the know and you know more than your neighbor. And that's always fun to do at the water cooler. Even though we don't have water coolers anymore, I don't even have a water fountain. We've got like a little this little technologically advanced water machine in our kitchen. I don't even know what you call that anymore. But I am here with my good friend and expert contributor, Gabe Abshire. Gabe, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
Hey, man.
Love the new digs.
Hey, thanks.
Great new station.
Well, thanks. Speaking of the station, we were celebrating this new station all month long, and we finally, I know you've been glued to your chairs, have the contest winners to announce. And so we were giving away a lot of prizes. We were giving away the iPad Mini, Rangers tickets with all you can eat, and some $50 gift certificates to restaurant.com. And our winners are, congratulations to the following. Drum roll, please. Janet Cook for the iPad Mini. We also have Mark Barnes and Valerie Gibson are our winners. We have the Rangers tickets and the restaurant.com gift certificates. Thank you so much for playing, all of you that played, and congratulations again to our winners. And now I have another announcement to make that has been almost 2 years in the making, and it's very exciting and personal. We found out a little bit while ago, but we were hesitant to say anything because we were high risk, but now we are normal, and my wife and I are pregnant.
Nice! And they're back!
Yes!
That's awesome!
2 years, man. We've been trying. I'm so excited, dude.
Man, congratulations.
Yeah, we got the little heartbeat. I took these little videos. A little dude or girl, I don't know, was in there, and they're floating up. It doesn't even look real, but he's got like a human head and little weird limbs.
Way
and
to keep a secret, buddy.
I know. You
Seriously.
Like that? I did that. I know. I was trying. We didn't know. We were high risk, so we had to make sure, go through all these little things, and they had to go to a special doctor, and then they downgrade you to, okay, you're okay now. So it was just kind of like, I'm still a little surreal. In fact, I got like pits in my stomach because, I mean, it's so exciting, but I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a little human life in my little human wife. And so it's so nutso. And she's like, stop being so nervous. I'm like, I'm excited. I just am, wow, it's just so much. And when we saw the sonogram this last time, that heartbeat, it sounds like a freaking train. No, it was
quick.
I was quick.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be a new daddy, dude.
Congrats, brother.
Thanks so much,
awesome.
man. I know.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, I know. How many do you have? Rugrats do you have running around?
Two. So that was a good experience for Beth a couple weekends ago.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's going to be a good experience for us going forward. And I'm still shocked. I wonder why she has to use the restroom all the time. I saw the little dude on the camera. He's like kicking her bladder.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, that means we have to go to the bathroom too, man, all the time. Stop kicking me. So anyway, thank you to everybody.
Awesome.
Yes, and I'm so happy for it, and we'll keep you posted on all the fun stuff going on there. You are listening to Tuttle Talk here on the Real Estate Radio Network. Gabe, I want to talk to you. I know that there are a lot of pain, especially now and always with buying homes. More regulations, more paperwork, more people involved. It was 28 people and 28 people and 8 companies involved in a given transaction. Now it's up to like 34, 35 people and 9 companies involved in every transaction. That's a lot of hands touching a deal to make sure you can buy a home or reorganize your financing. So what are some of the headaches, Gabe, that most people have, and how can you overcome some of those?
You mentioned how many hands touch the pot, and that's just really in the real estate transaction.
Mm-hmm.
What we do as a company, we help ease that pain when you're moving into the house, when all that stuff's already done. So we're not touching the real estate transaction, but when you're getting all your utilities and stuff's transferred over, you want the latest and greatest in technology, right? And so we help you find that. So there is a couple of tips that we can give you to kind of help ease that pain. Number one, I think, is allow plenty of time. So even before you start looking for a house, you want to start looking at your utility options in that neighborhood. Because if certain things are important to you, if high-speed internet's important to you, you might want to be in an area that has fiber optic internet, things like that.
Right.
And then also, as soon as you're under contract and you're going to move in the house, start looking, because the cable companies and providers are behind 2 to 3 weeks right now, and it's going to be even more during the summertime. So say you're supposed to move in on the 1st, and you put your order in a week before. Well, you might be a couple weeks in the house without internet. We know how important internet is today.
Yeah.
You can live without, maybe some TV. Got to have your electricity and water and gas on. But if you don't have internet,
it's almost as important as electricity, water, and gas these days.
It's not good.
No, that's not good. 2 weeks? I would not. I know first world problems, but oh my gosh, I mean, you need internet these days. A lot of people work from their houses. You could be in trouble.
Exactly. We run into a lot of folks that work from the houses. And the last thing is just you should start looking while you're in the house, because you might not be moving for another year, but you can start saving some money now by looking at your utilities and put that money that you've saved towards the purchase of your new house.
So that's a good point. So one of the things is give yourself plenty of time.
Plenty of time.
And then what are the other tips?
You want to dedicate one person to do that.
Mm-hmm.
We found that it takes an average of 6 to 8 hours to do this. So why make everyone miserable?
It's true.
And you want to have one point of contact. You don't want to be going back and forth and talking to the husband and one person talking to the husband, person talking to the wife.
That's right.
Why ruin everybody's day? So dedicate one person to take care of it. And it makes that just a lot smoother.
Didn't you do some research on how long it typically takes, like hours that someone needs to put into this over the course of the transaction?
Yeah, 4 to 6 hours, and that's researching, transferring, and setting up new service. Okay, that's what it takes the average person.
Unfortunately, you can't block out a half day. I know that's 30 minutes here, 10 minutes here, and it's just dragging on and dragging on and dragging on. So it is why it's important. You don't want to overcomplicate that. You add another person there, you complicate that by a factor of 3. So don't do that. Dedicate someone into the household, buy them nice dinner, let them do that. What's the third thing?
The third thing really is have a good real estate professional team. When you start looking for a house, obviously you want to have a great real estate professional. They are well worth what they're paid. Absolutely. They're going to find you the best deal, and they're going to find you the best deal, for your needs. And that team should include also a financial planner and also a mortgage professional, because they're going to look at your overall picture and really help you make the best choices for your specific situation.
No, that's a very good idea and very good point. You do need to do that. Thank you for bringing that up. I know that you're giving tips there and advice, which is good advice on how to do this, but I know also that you've set up your company kind of to be that one person, which I think is important to understand, because instead of me, because I can't do it, so my wife would have to, I'm too distracted by bird. Squirrel. Yeah.
Squirrel.
So she'd have to do it, and that would be miserable for both of us. So
your pregnant wife.
Yeah. So
you want your pregnant wife on the phone?
No, don't do that. That's
for
me.
6 to 8 hours.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, baby. But instead, I would rather just call a company like Utility Concierge.
Exactly. That's why we're here. And those tips that we gave you, that goes hand in hand with what we do. We want to make sure that we can help you in plenty of time. We want to make sure that we get your information as soon as you're moving to the house, so we can make those choices for you, make it easy for you. And then, instead of dedicating that one person, we're going to be that person, but we're going to dedicate one person to you. You're only going to talk to one concierge that's going to help you through the process. And we can get that process, we can get everything taken care of, if you're ready to rock, within 20 minutes.
That's such a big difference.
So you take that 8 hours down to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And if your closing doesn't happen, if you have to push something out, all you have to do is call your concierge and say, hey, look, we got bumped a couple of weeks. Can you push everything out? Done. 5-minute phone call.
That's great. My clients love it. I know all of our realtors clients love it. And I know that, first of all, that can be very expensive to have a service like that does it all for you. But you guys offer it complimentary when it comes from the real estate agent, correct?
Yeah, that goes into our last point, is that, always have a team of professionals helping with your real estate transaction. And we've been working with real estate agents for the last 5 years, and they've been awesome because they get how difficult it is to do this and how stressful the home buying process is. So this is really a great thing for them to add. So yes, it is complimentary if you're referred to us by your real estate professional.
Well, that's the way to do it. I know you have, in our just a few seconds that we have left, I know that you have a new launch. You're launching some new things on the website that make it even more consumer friendly. Tell us very quickly about that.
Sure, absolutely. We're launching a new website, and I like to say we're launching the company to the public, because we've been dealing with real estate professionals now for 5 years. So brand new website, brand new look and feel, make it really easy for you. We also have a animated explainer app, and then also a Apple app coming out. So it makes it really easy for everybody to get their information in.
Well, that's the way to do it, and I'm happy that you're doing that. I know you're going to be back with us, and thanks for doing that. People need more complimentary low-cost services that save a lot of time, and yours is one of my favorites. Yours is definitely one of my favorites. So if you want to get a hold of Utility Concierge, one, you can go to utilityconcierge.com, or you can call 214-736-9696. Go on the hotline, tell them why you call, and we will make sure. The team will make sure that you get in touch with Utility Concierge and get your needs taken care of. Before we go to break, and I'm going long here, but I got to tell you, because the market is crazy. Rates are down a little bit. We saw a big rally this week. So a couple of things on that I want you to note, because a lot of times when rates go down, people go, okay, I'll just wait. The past 2 years, that statistics have shown that's a bad idea. Because it ebbs and flows. So it goes down for a day or an hour or a week, and then and the rates go back up, and they go back up for a month. So instead, it's a good idea when the market is right. Remember this: pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. Do not get greedy. If you're in a loan right now and you're floating and you're talking with your lender and you're not sure yet, act right now. If you don't have a lender and you want to talk to see if you can save money, call us at the number or go to yourmortgagereview.com, and we will connect you and get you an analysis, a free copy of your credit report, and see what you can save. No closing cost loans are the only way to go in a market like this. No closing cost loans. That's the way you structure it. That's what you tell your lender you're going to structure it, because guess what? When you do that, zero payback period. You can save money now, $100, $200, $300 a month, and if rates go down again in 6 months, you get to save money again, where the person that had to pay costs to do that can't, because you've got all this money you just put in. You got to wait 2 years. See what I'm saying? The difference? That's the difference, guys. Be smart with how you strategize on what you're doing. You're listening to Tuttle Talk here on the Real Estate Radio Network. When we come back, we're going to get with Kevin Caskey and Candy Evans and talk really the inside track on what's going on in the real estate market here in DFW. So stay with us. Welcome back, Dallas. You are listening to Tuttle Talk on the Real Estate Radio Network here on 660 AM The Answer every Sunday, 3 p.m. I am your host, Andy Tuttle. You can reach out to us at our off-air hotline, 214-736-9696, 214-736-9696. You can also get into the conversation, facebook.com/Tuttle Talk, and you're going to want to do that after you listen to my next two guests. We have Kevin Caskey, director and realtor over at Dallas City Center. I know you've heard about them. If you haven't, you will soon, because they are popping up everywhere. I can't drive out of my neighborhood without seeing at least two of their signs, and I don't even go a long way out of my neighborhood. It's like one street. So you will hear about him soon. Kevin's going to be here to tell you a little bit more about the insight of what's going on in the market. He's been in the business for 13 years, and now, because he works with so many agents, I believe there are 90 at his office, 80 or 90 at his office. We'll get that number here in a second. He understands really what the real estate community is about. And remember, I told you earlier, they're 2.5 times as good as your average agent. Well, we'll give you the statistics to that here coming up. I also have Candy Evans. We're going to talk to her in this segment and the next segment. And I've already heard a ton about you from my audience and from my listeners and friends. So excited that Candy's going to be on the show today, because she's a great blogger. You're going to get a lot of good dirt from Candy's Dirt today. So Kevin, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Candy, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
Kevin, I want to start with you. And I know, again, you've been in the business 13 years, and you started out as a realtor.
Yes, sir.
And now you have been then you were, I guess, really what they call a team lead over at Keller Williams.
Yes.
Correct. And then in this last year, it's been a little less than a year, you've moved really a lot of your, kind of an exodus. Yes?
Basically, we just defranchised. So everything stayed the same as far as the agents, pretty much the processes, and we just took the red off the sign.
Right, and you added a new sign, and you moved a little bit of locations. I remember, I think, reading that in Candy's blog a year ago about them moving to the hot side of the street.
She did. She featured our move in her blog, and we did. We were founded about 14 years ago in Mockingbird Station. That was our first location, and we had a brief stint down on Lower Greenville, and that location was nice, but not where we needed to be. Now we're right in the center of it all, and at McKinney and Monticello. So we're here for the long haul.
But you definitely are, and I'm not kidding. Everywhere I drive in my area, I live in White Rock, and they're everywhere. They're all over the place. So, which is great, and I am happy that your agent is, in a sense, you could say 2.5 times better. And the statistic we gave, and I'm stealing Candy's here because she reminded me of this earlier, but the average agent makes about $26,000 a year.
Yes.
And your agent, though, if you average it, makes how much a year?
About $71,000.
Guys, you got to understand that. That's a very big deal. What that means is that they have more agents that are in the business every day, that are full-time, that are working, that are talking to homeowners, that are knowing what's going on in the marketplace. There are so many implications of that. So you got to take that number and know when you're working with someone and an agent at Dallas City Center, you're working with someone that really knows what they're doing and you can trust them. And Kevin, you have been, how many agents are there, 80?
About 90.
About 90. How is it working with 90 agents?
You know, it's stressful at times, but it's, you know, realtors have big personalities, so
Yes,
it can be.
It's a nice way to say, very, very diplomatic of you,
Yes.
Kevin.
But, you know,
mom.
actually 90 is a good number because, you know, you've got your real tiny brokerages that you know, have a dozen and, you know, they really never make a mark in the market as far as market share. And then you've got your huge offices that, you know, agents get lost in. So I think we're right there in the middle where we need to be, where agents get attention and they all know each other and can market properties, you know, among themselves.
So being a top producing agent yourself, working now with more than 90, but now under your stewardship, if you will, 90 agents to make sure that they are doing things right, working in the market right, providing them good systems that help them take care of the homeowner and our community. A question that comes up, I know you get, I hear it all the time. In your opinion, do you think agents are overpaid?
Definitely not. I would say they're underpaid. I know every time I would have that comment made to me personally, I would tell the person making the comment that my clients felt that I deserved more when we got to the closing table because of the service I provided and how I made the transaction smooth. And, you know, if an agent does a good job and makes that transaction happen and happen well, then they deserve every penny, if not more.
So what do you say then to the homeowner, though, or the person that's like, well, I appreciate that, but I mean, there's Zillow and Realtor and Trulia. I can get everything I need I can get from that.
Well, you really can't because, you know, the fact that you put a sign out in the front yard and expect the right person to drive by, yes, this market's pretty hot, but in markets past, I mean, what are the chances that somebody's going to drive by and see that house? You know, what are the chances that they're going to find it online? And then, you know, frankly, if you're a single female or something like that, do you really want to have unqualified people traipsing through your house that are not qualified for a mortgage or qualified, you know, by an agent to be, you know, to work with?
Actually, that's a very
Can I just say something about Zillow? I'm sorry. I'll shut up after this for 5 seconds. I know the Zillow people. I know the Trulia people. They're great people. But one of the things the Zillow people asked me when I was in California last was, hey, you know what? You know, you guys, we can't ever find real prices on homes in Texas. It's so hard because, you know, for a while, you know, we didn't have to report the prices. I have never seen a good Zestimate. Have you ever seen a good Zestimate, an accurate Zestimate?
No,
and it
never.
drives everyone crazy because they're telling you one thing and that it's kind of like not the truth. So, you know, I don't think it's that great. I think you start there, but you've got to go to an agent.
I mean, that's all subjective. I mean, you need someone that knows the market and knows how to price your home because today, if you price a home well, then, you know, it's going to go quickly. And if you price it incorrectly, like you might if you use those numbers, then it's going to stay on the market a while.
Yeah, like I heard from another really good realtor last week. If he's like ready to sell home, move-in ready homes sell like hotcakes.
Yes.
But you know, if you don't have the right, if it's not staged correctly, if you're not doing the proper things as a seller, it's not going to sell.
Right.
Well, I mean, we had an agent recently that took over 2 high-rise units, and the previous agent had them vacant. Really relied on past history and didn't market much. And our agent took those over, had them staged, had an event there. The lower unit sold immediately. And then the penthouse unit, it actually is under contract, and it's a buyer within the building that heard about it through her marketing. So, you know, agents today, they need to work harder than they've ever worked. And I think that's a big reason why a homeowner is challenged when they try to do it themselves.
They're dust busters. We need dust busters.
Right. You got to have dustbusters. I like the way you put that. So, Kevin, what then, in your opinion, because you've made a decision and a choice, because I want to stick with your company, and then we're going to get into, because I love this panel discussion. What, in your opinion, do you think makes Dallas City Center different than all the other brokerages that are out there? Because there is a glut of brokerages in Dallas.
Definitely. One of the biggest things is we have a wide base of successful agents. We have, if you compare us to most of the brokerages around us, we have a wider base of agents that are highly successful. So, what that means to a seller is there's more people in our office, like we mentioned, as far as the average salary, that are active in the market. And you can market it within the office first before it hits the open market. But, not only that, but the fact that we are creative, we're different. We want the agents to have their own image, their own marketing. So we do brand ourselves, but it's not like we're someone's name or we're marketing, the brokerage. We're more about the agent. And in turn, that agent has the same mindset. So it's more about the client and marketing their specific home. So we are into, more custom graphics, videos on the homes and things like that we didn't do years ago, but now we do, and it helps property sell.
The key to understanding how to move your real estate is having your marketing aligned with the market. Kevin and his team over at Dallas City Center have done that better than pretty much anyone else around town. They'll do that for you and your home. And here's the deal. You think right now it's going to sell because it's a seller's market. What do you care? You do care now. That's more of the time you need the professional to make sure you don't get hosed. You get top dollar for your value or for your house. And also, if you're a buyer, that you are not getting basically led around by the nose. And more than anything else right now, you don't want, on either side, but especially as a seller, you don't want people like Kevin talked about coming into your home that aren't qualified. You got to make sure you work with an agent and a team that can do that for you. If you want to get a hold of an agent like that, Kevin or one of his team, please call us 214-736-9696, 214-736-9696. You'll call the hotline. We will get someone to answer that call and help you get in touch with a member of Kevin's team or Kevin himself. When we come back here on Tuttle Talk, we're going to get with Candy Evans, the myth, the legend, the controversial sometimes blogger, and more with Kevin about what's going on in this market and how to handle this low inventory environment. So stay with us. And we're back. Welcome back, Dallas, here on Tuttle Talk, Real Estate Radio Network. I am your host, Andy Tuttle. You can reach us, 214-736-9696. Get on the hotline. We'll ask you some basic questions to make sure we're helping you set up for a prosperous financial future. And so spend a couple of minutes on the phone. We'll make sure you get taken care of. My special guest today, Kevin Caskey, director and top producing realtor over at Dallas City Center, and also Candy Evans from Candy's Dirt, and also, what is it, secondshelters.com?
Yes, my second home blog.
Oh, perfect.
That's right.
I can't wait to hear all about that. Candy, when did you get started blogging?
Long story. I was an editor at D Magazine, and I am not a technical person at all. Believe me, I totally cut computer class in college. Had to take bowling to make up for it. But
it's a good trade.
It's a good, right? Exactly. So we were all told, that media was changing, and you had to learn how to blog. And I said, okay, I'll be a good girl here and sit and learn how to blog. Well, I love it. I just took to it. It took me a while to learn how to not crash the system, But once I got into it,
you were typing too much.
Well, I was starting to push too many
or something?
buttons.
Oh, yes.
I'm a big button. Just try it, see what happens, right? So we did that. And anyhow, I kind of started enjoying it because I used to be in television news years ago. And to me, blogging I love the instantaneousness of it. I love that I can throw something up there and everyone's reading it. If I make a mistake, and God forbid I do make a few mistakes, I can get up there and I can fix it right away, and change it and say, oops, a little bit wrong information here. And I think we've seen in the past few weeks in our country what social media is all about and how quickly we can get information to people. It's wonderful. It's really great.
Right.
So anyhow, I've always been obsessed with real estate. I mean, you would not want to be married to me because you would have had to buy like 10 houses, immediately.
All at once. Here we go. This is right. The dowry for
well,
Candy.
my mantra for Second Shelters is you can never be too thin, too rich, or have too many homes.
Okay. Nice. Hilarious. So why Candy's Dirt? Why is that the name?
Well, I was doing Dallas Dirt at D Magazine, and I decided to brand myself. And it was just suggested that maybe, Candy's Dirt was a little bit of a broader name instead of Dallas Dirt. That's why I'm not just limited to Dallas, because we love Dallas. And I'm a big, I live in Dallas, but we have Plano, we have Arlington, we have Fort Worth, we have San Antonio, Austin. I mean, there's other places to go. And of course, dirt refers to, the real estate part. So
right.
That's
Perfect.
it. Yes. But I do house porn too, so that's kind of dirty.
There you go. I knew you would get that in today.
Got to get that word in.
Just randomly throw it in there. Can I say house porn, please? I just have to get it in there. So then really quickly on your second blog, Second Shelters, that's your second home blog. Have you had that for as long?
Yes, we've had that for about 3 years now. I actually started that back when I was at D, and it just focuses on the weekend getaways. Like there's a lot of great places out at Cedar Creek Lake, and one of the newest is a place called Long Cove. And there's Beacon Hill, and then of course there's the Hill Country, there's Colorado, there's California, there's Santa Fe, which I think is sort of a bedroom community of Dallas, because so many people in Dallas live in Santa Fe. Second homes are really quite amazing. I mean, people have always wanted a weekend getaway. The New York, they go to the Hamptons, they go to New England, the Jersey Shore. So we have our places specific to Dallas too, and I'm always kind of follow those where everyone plays.
Well, I don't know how you have the time to follow everything you do, but it is definitely, you always have great content. There's always some little idea or a property or area that I didn't really know that was in there. And then you also introduced my wife and I to conservation grass, which I think is fantastic.
My next house, I'm telling you, the whole yard, conservation grass.
Got to do it. I mean, it's zoysia. Yeah. I have the shade. We can't get the zoysia to grow. It's horrible, but this, you just lay it down. It's green all the time.
Yes.
My wife doesn't have to be embarrassed when I'm like,
Right.
I'm watering it. I promise. I'm doing everything. I don't know. We pay for people to come take care of this. I can't get it right. So this is a great tip.
Love
so
it.
if you want to get that kind of inside scoop, not only on what's happening, moving and shaking and what real estate, and get some really great pictures and really great articles and content about what's moving in Dallas, but also get some great ideas on things like conservation grass, you can go to candysdirt.com, correct?
Exactly.
How else can they get a hold of you?
Oh, you can always email me, Candace@candysdirt.com, and sign up. We have a list, and if you sign up for our subscription list, you will get Candy's Dirt and house porn delivered to your inbox every day.
And you don't have to hide that, which is good.
Right.
So don't do that, guys. Don't do the other kind either.
And we don't talk just about the $1 million homes or the $20 million homes. We also have every Tuesday a Tuesday 200. We work so hard to get those. We want attractive homes in the $200,000 range, and they're here.
That's good. Mm-hmm. Not as many of them anymore. That's where I want to get to in the low inventory. Kevin, what's the inventory at now, and should we be concerned about it?
Well, we're at less than 2 months inventory across the Metroplex, and
so low.
It's crazy because the market's really turned, and it is a seller's market.
So what does that mean for the average person? They say it goes from a buyer's market to a seller's market, and I always say that means your lowball offers aren't working anymore.
Not at all. Basically, we talked about why use a realtor. Well, that's a perfect reason, because if you are a seller, you have to have an agent that knows how to handle that multiple offer situation, because a house with multiple offers could be a house that's back on the market very quickly if it's not handled well. And if you're a buyer's agent and you're looking for homes for a client, then you have to know how to handle it that way too, because so many people look at the price and say, okay, I'm not going to pay that price, and they don't look at what the house is actually worth. So your realtor should show you, comps on what that home is worth. Sometimes it is worth 20, 30, 40, 50,000 more than what it's listed at. And therefore, if there's multiple offers, you can pay up to that amount and still be getting a good deal.
You got to know that. That's just good. That's just the kind of information that you just don't get on your own, and you don't know if you can get it on your own and trust it unless you work with a realtor.
Right.
So, Candy, what are you seeing what's going on right now as far as inventory, and what's the buzz happening right now in the marketplace?
Well, the buzz is, of course, that homes are selling before they're listed. We're seeing a lot of these coming soon signs, people that hip pockets, which is, home that people are kind of thinking about selling, but they really haven't put it on MLS. Those are selling. It's crazy. My own daughter just bought a home, and let me tell you, it was very hectic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kevin, hip pocket marketing. I've heard a lot about that. I know you know a lot about that. Basically, like I said, coming soon before it even gets put on the markets. Real quickly, what are the pros and cons with that?
Well, the pros, of course, is that you sell the house before you have 1 million people traipsing through it. The con is we're finding that some agents are marketing it within their sphere of influence, and they're selling it prior to hitting the open market. And a lot of the sellers are feeling that they may be getting less than they would if they did open it up to the market in general.
Ooh, and I could make some unhappy sellers, and we don't want that now, do we?
You always want to get the absolute most you can for your property. That's the whole point of it.
Right. And of course, unless you have to move based on the time that you need to move, I guess, because if you got to move quickly, you may have to sell for a little bit less. Yeah. Okay, so last question on this. What is, because I've heard a lot about this too, in the news that, Dallas seems to be more than just a local spot these days. What are you guys hearing about it being more a national stage right now?
Oh, we're hot. Everyone from California wants to move here. They're like so fed up with the taxes in California, the regulations. I mean, Kevin, you probably have a third of your clients coming in from California. That's what That's what I've heard. I mean, I've got a couple here sold a home in Pebble Beach and moved to Beverly Drive. Lovely people, have not even looked back. Love Dallas better every day. We've got a lot of people from other states moving here besides California. I think the top three that I've heard are California, Illinois, and New York. They are loving us. So these people are all coming in. Plus, we're all trying to sell our homes, and there's just not that many homes to go around.
Yeah, no kidding.
So we're hot.
You're very hot. And Kevin, you're seeing some of that too, right?
Definitely, because Dallas is one of the fastest growing cities in the country, and we're seeing that with that growth, there is a lack of inventory, and we're trying to get people in a situation where they will sell their homes. So sometimes we're having to put them in temporary housing and rent for a while so they don't have to rush and find the perfect home. But don't pass up an opportunity, because right now Dallas is hot, and it's the time to sell if you're wanting to anytime in the near future. Interest rates are at an all-time low. The market's hot. If you want to sell, now's the time to do it.
That is the time to do it. Is the time to listen to this show is now. Kevin Caskey, great information. Thank you so much for being here today. Candy, appreciate your insight as always. Look forward to having both of you back. Now, remember this. You got to vote for Candy. You got to go to dmagazine.com and vote for best blogger or best blog, right?
Best blog. Thank you.
You got it. No,
Candy's
you got to do it. Go read it first, and you'll be hooked, and you'll definitely vote. Go to candysdirt.com, vote at dmagazine.com. If you want to get a hold of an excellent agent, call us 214-736-9696. We will hook you up with Kevin or a member of his team. You're listening to Tuttle Talk. I hope you've enjoyed this hour. You can also reach me at questions@andytuttle.com. Don't forget to go to facebook.com/Tuttle Talk. Get into the conversation. Get advice that can help you with your financial life and really dispel the rumors going around the real estate market. Get the truth here every week, Sunday, 3 p.m. Thank you so much for listening. I'd like to thank Candy, Kevin, Gabe, my man, who always takes all my junk I give him and throw it back at him every day. He's
love
a good
being
man.
Here, buddy. Thanks.
Thanks for being my punching bag, buddy. No, I love you. Thank you, Dan Bradford, and all my listeners. Thank you so much, and thank you for listening to Tuttle Talk, where we're making financial intelligence a priority in the community. Have a great weekend.
You've been listening to Tuttle Talk on 660 AM The Answer. You can reach Andy at 214-736-9696. That's 214-736-9696. Or email him, questions@andytuttle.com. Don't forget to become a fan of his show by going to facebook.com/Tuttle Talk. You can also catch previous shows by going to andytuttle.com.